now, man. All right, we live, baby.
Right on.
Turn this off over here, so I want you to repeat myself. All right. First, I want to say peace of Black African power. Let me do this. Y'all, give me 1 second, y'all. Let me do this. Y'all be patient. Give me 1 second. Hey, wife, I don't see my wife. She's in the chat. All right. Copy this link. All right, we'll be right back. I'm gonna play our guest song. This is called Black Coffee, right?
Yeah, that's Black Coffee.
Okay, Black Coffee. So we'll be right back. This is Olu Ase track Black Coffee. All right. Back by Guest Olu Ase Black Coffee. First, again, I want to say peace and Black African power. Welcome back to Kofi Piesie TV with Kofi Piesie. I want to also say ETM Hotel just means bring forth peace. Do our nature. Fat more Lafayette, fat more Riri, Fakmo Iwa Pele, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Gungun, Majuba Iba E Lakba, Majuba Iba E Lakba, E Gungun Kiki, E Gungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. I also want to extend honor and praises to the true and living elders, according to an African tradition, and from an African worldview and from an African perspective. Because over here, like I always say, just because you're older than me does not make you an elder if you do not meet the criteria from an African perspective or from an African world view. Y'all please like and share the show. Please like and share the show. Peace to those in the chat. Peace to those who will be coming in later, and those who will be viewing this later on in the archive. Before we get started, I want to try to promote something before we get into the interviews. Brother Sutek, also please share the show for me, Brother Sutek. Throw them in the links for me, if you don't mind, Brother Sutek or Kundi, Uyane Olawa. But first, if you don't have my book, Beautiful Lessons about Kimoyo, please go get Beautiful Lessons about Kimo if you want to understand and learn the different elements that make up Kimoyo, or what people are referring to as African traditional religion or African spirituality. We're trying to get away from those terms and push Kimoyo, because Kimoyo describes our traditions better than those terms. Plus, we want agency back over our words, and we do not own agency over those terms that we are using. Also, if you don't have our volume 4, please go get Spirit Master, Historical Survey in the Minds of African Warrior Scholars, volume 4. This is our 4th installment, so please go get it. Also, if you don't have What Sars COVID Taught Me by Inherent Sean Calfunny, who is a member of Kofi Piesie research team and Mossi Warrior Clan, if you're trying to understand what a virus is, if you're trying to understand how the immune system works, if you're trying to understand who is pushing misinformation towards certain things, this is a book for you, What SARS-CoV Taught You. Also, if you don't have our Spearmaster Institution Coloring Book 1, which we released a few weeks ago, is a coloring book for those our babies who can color and learn at the same time. So as they color and have learning, they can color, learn, and have fun at the same time. Also, again, like I said, appreciate those who are supporting what we're doing with this new Independent African Academy movement that we got. And I said I was going to always read off our goals, our mandates, our codes of conduct before I start every show, no matter if I'm interviewing, no matter if I'm on here trying to teach or just build with the people. I'm always read off these codes of conduct, these mandates, and these goals before we get started. After I get through this, we'll jump definitely into the interview. So number 1 is never talk down on another NIAA member in public. Number 2, no pseudos. Number 3, the research methodology. Methodology must be followed. Number 4, teach those who are ready and willing to learn. Number 5, support other members. Number 6, disagreements handled in private. Number 7, no one is above correction. Number 8, we must stand on Black Africa, its descendants, and diaspora. Number 9, zero tolerance for dishonesty. Number 10, Iwariri, which means good character. I know you used to hear us say Iwa Pele, which we do refer to Iwa Pele, but Iwa Pele just means gentle character. The standards for as how one must conduct themselves. So we definitely got to have good character over here. Number 11, no selfless acts. Number 12, no scamming. Number 13, no pedophilia. Number 14, no disrespecting of Black women. Number 15, race first. Number 16, supporting Black businesses. Number 17, integrity. Number 18, must possess the will to learn. Number 19, each one teach one, or the phrase that I coined a few years ago. As I learn, we all learn. And if you want my book, As I Learn, We All Learn, sharing information with others, deepen your own knowledge, it's also available on our publishing company as well, Same Tree, Different Branch Publishing. Also, our goals that we're trying to achieve for the new Independent African Academy, which some of those goals we already have achieved, but we want to achieve on a greater level. Some of those we are working on to achieve. And number 1 is producing more authors. We're very adamant with producing more authors, people who look like us, where we're able to write our own narrative, our own stories. Number 2, producing excellent men and women. Number 3, institutions for learning. Number 4, entrepreneurship. Number 5, scientific literacy. Number 6, scholarships for the youth, which is something that we already have obtained, but we want to obtain it a little bit more. We actually have a scholarship in Gambia, or 2 scholarships in Gambia, but we don't have any in the States yet, but we're working on getting scholarships over here in the States where we're able to pay for some people intuition, I'm going to say intuition, but pay for their schooling. Number 7, long-lasting marriages. Number 8, creating rites of passages. Number 9, unification. Number 10, multiple support groups. So now that we got all of that out of the way, again, like I say, y'all, please like and share the show. Peace to those who are in the chat right now. So y'all give a warm welcome to our brother. I want to welcome our brother Olu Ase.
Peace, family, peace.
All right, brother Olu, could you briefly introduce yourself to the people that may not know who you are? And I'm saying briefly. I always tell the people I'm interviewing briefly, because if they don't, they'll start going into my question. They'll start going into my question.
I got you. So I'm an artist, activist, and creative from Houston, Texas. Go by the name Olu Ase. I'm a founding member of 40 Acres, and I'm also a member of Audio Intelligence. These are collectives of my brothers, where we conjoin together and make dope content for our people that is uplifting, educational, and is still raw. I think that's the best way I can put that.
No doubt. Now, these first couple of questions, man, and well, first, like I said, I want to say this too, because I want to say this on air too, and like I said, I've been listening to because before we get into the music, we're gonna get into some other stuff, and then we're gonna deal into your music, because we want to talk about your music and talk about your latest release that you put out. Like I said, I've been banging it for almost a month, man. So I just want to say, and just put it on record, in the public too. This is a dope project, man, that you dropped, and I think everybody should, go check it out. This is something that is, I'm saying, rare. It has become rare now, where you get a project from somebody, and you can't, you skipping. The first song might be jamming, then and you skip the 2 or 3 songs because it ain't where it's supposed to be, and you go to the next song, and within 12 to 13 songs, you got 3 songs on there that's jamming, or 4 songs out of 13 songs, man. That's kind of bad. But this, it's jamming. I mean, it's jamming all the way through, man. And you talking that talk, man. You talking about Africa, you talking about Ola Damari, you talking about the Orisha, you talking about liberation, you talking about upliftment, man. You talk about, man, you talking that talk, you talking a whole lot of stuff in there, man. So y'all please go check out his CD, man. Ashe 2 for the people, man. It's streaming on all platforms, man. But these first 3 questions, man, that I'll ask everybody that come on Warrior Scholars. And also I hope that before I get into the questions, like I told Obafemi yesterday, that I hope y'all are the first 2. I started Warrior Scholars this year, and you are the 28th guest that's been on Warrior Scholar, but you and Obafemi is the hip hop. So I'm trying to launch the hip hop edition of Warrior Scholar. And what I mean by that is people who are in hip hop but has some dope content, and the content is something where they can take something from it. You know what I'm saying? It has some substance to it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talking that talk, and not only that y'all talking that talk, y'all walking it, because y'all music is emulating or reflecting y'all reality. Like most rappers, that when we talk about gangster rap, a lot of people talk about slanging that iron and selling drugs, and that their music is not reflecting their reality. This is stuff that they're making up, but y'all music is actually reflecting y'all reality because the things that y'all talking about, y'all stand on that and y'all are actually doing that in the community. You see what I'm saying? So it's matching it. So I'm definitely trying to hope this be able to spin that off. But name some of your first warrior scholars, man. But name some of your favorite warrior scholars. Who would you deem your warrior scholars, man?
My warrior scholars. Well, how many do I get?
Man, you can name.
All right. So, well, first off, I want to say Baba Baruti. Mm-hmm. I would say Omowale, Malcolm X, Dr. Khaled, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Dr. Claude Anderson, Fred Hampton Sr., and his wife Akua, as well as the Hampton. I'll say the Hampton family for them keeping up the legacy of the chairman. Yeah, it's more I could go on, but those for sure, those are the ones that come directly to the forefront of my mind.
No doubt. I rock with all those as well, man. I rock with all those as well. Name the last book, man, you read or a book that you currently read, man.
The last book I read is the Supreme Wisdom Lessons from the Nation of Islam. And I say a book that I kind of go back and forth, or just some books, The Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, Interstellar Stellar Man by John Baines, that's probably been like the three that I've been floating back and forth towards. And the reason for going back with the Supreme Wisdom Lessons is just going back and taking some of the spookiness out of things and reading them for what they are and comparing them to the structure and the way things are presented now in the present time. One of my main things has always been before I can honestly listen to an individual, I have to know, especially if you're a Black man, I have to know what your stance is on your heritage or where you view that. And then being able to kind of get an overall understanding and concept of where your information is about to take me. Because a lot of times when you find that there is a disinterest or an aversion to Africa or just an ignorance of the continent itself, that lets me know that a lot of your information may be biased. So I'll still go into it, but I have to have an understanding of where you are going into it. That way I know what to take from it and to allow myself not to be offended and take on those emotions when it comes to information.
Oh, no doubt, man. I respect that. Your name, man, which is another important key and element when it comes to our culture and our tradition, or what we call it, Kimoyo, is the name, bro. So what does your name mean, man? Can you break that down? Olu Ase.
Okay, so Olu is shortened for Olumide. Olumide means God has come in the Yoruba language. Ashe is an affirmation or a confirmation, which means it is so or it will be. So my name shortened means God, today, it is so.
Hey, come turn the heater back on for me. I mean the drive. My bad, brother. I'm trying to get my stepdaughter to do something, but yeah, you said the Ashe means affirmation.
Nah, you good.
Yeah, man.
Right.
So
it means it is so.
Go turn the drive back on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, nah, you good. So, Olu Ase for me is more than a name. It's like a mantra. Mm-hmm. It's God has come. It is so. So it's me telling you who I am, and then reassuring you that you're not fooled by what you hear.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best way I could put that.
Okay. Right. I feel it. I dig that. I dig that, man. And we're gonna talk a little bit more about that too, because with Ashe, you know, just a little bit, because I want to know what kind of gravitates you, you know, to kind of, you know, pick that name, and not only pick the name, but you know, gravitate toward that tradition in Nigeria.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
All right, and like I said, we're gonna get into the music. We definitely gonna get into the music. Just, you know, I just want to, before we get in, I just want to build with you, man, on some, you know, on some things. So
for sure.
Pan, and then I asked Obafemi this last night too. You know, are you a Pan-Africanist? And if you are a Pan-Africanist, how one becomes a Pan-Africanist? Like if I want to become a Pan-Africanist, I don't know what that is. How, you know, in your own word, you know, how one becomes a Pan-African.
Okay. So yes, I am Pan-African. I would say that Pan-Africanism overall deals with the unification of the diaspora and those of African descent. It is a means to unify and come towards one common goal. Within coming into that common goal, one must know that education, economics, your spirituality, and overall, just like you said, EY Ray Ray and EY Pele, good character and gentle character dealing with one another can expand and expound on what it is that we want to do. Like for someone who would want to be Pan-African or had an inquiry about what Pan-Africanism is, that's why one of the first things I mentioned was those who have rhetoric that's anti-African, because you can't be a Pan-African with anti-African thought. So when going into working with our people, if you don't have a global mindset and viewing your people all as kin and being able to differentiate between the two, like Garvey said, everyone will not be fitted to go back to Africa. They will no good here, and they'll be no good there. So when you start to separate the wheat from the tare, and you are able to use that as the unifying and the common line, like Africa is the first step. If I can show you a picture of Africa and the vast different amounts of Africans in the world, and you don't scrunch your face up and you don't start talking negatively about these people, you know, and if I can correct you, if you have those type of misconceptions, if I can correct you, then we headed to a proper place. But if I can't correct you and you are stuck in those thoughts, then Pan-Africanism may not just be for you.
I feel you, man. I feel you on that. One can definitely not be a Pan-Africanist. And, you know, if you are looking at Africa with a distaste or a disdain or even, you know, buying into the propaganda and even using some of those ugly terms, derogatory terms when it comes to Africa, because a lot of us view those terms and don't know where those terms come from. So, because what I mean by that, you people look at Africa and the people in Africa and call them primitive, call their culture demonic, satanic. They're practicing idolatry. You know what I'm saying? They're heathens. They're pagans. All of these terms, juju, which we flip the term juju, and I don't use the term, but you know, some of our other brothers flip the term juju, and in the same way with the word nigga. You know what I'm saying? I really don't use that in my vocabulary, but you know, we flip that term, the same thing they did, but you know what I'm saying? We are still utilizing and using those same terms and looking looking at Mother Africa in that same aspect as people that doesn't look like, that doesn't look like us. So one definitely cannot be a Pan-African if you have this disdain for Africa, or you disrespect Africa in any type of regards. And
right.
definitely I agree with you when it's crazy when you said that when I asked that question, Obafemi answer was the same for as good character, right? So, and that's definitely an element too, because a lot of times when I don't take, I sit back and I pay attention to a lot of stuff. Like I don't get involved in a lot of stuff that go on social media, or things that go on other platforms. Sometimes I may get frustrated and I may address a few things that's going on. But when I sit back and observe, and a lot of people that say they Pan-Africanist, and they RBG, and they descend from Africa, and they're practicing some form of an African custom, and then the character doesn't match. You know what I'm saying? I don't take these people seriously. You see what I'm saying? And though that you said good character, and he said the same thing, because in our culture, in our traditions, the thing is they one of the elements is cultivating good character, making one the most highest human being or the highest humanitarian as possible. Because I know when we look at it, I know from a scientific standpoint and from a philosophical standpoint, like when they look at it from like a philosophical standpoint, and most ethnic groups within Africa, you may walk around your whole life, you may not even be considered a human being because of the actions and the characters that you have. So they call you it within society. And you don't want to be called it within society, because now it disqualifies you when you go, like I mentioned a while ago, just because one is older does not make me, just because one is older than me does not make him my elder. If they don't meet the criteria from an African perspective or from an African worldview. So if you're not even considered a human being within the culture or the tradition of the group that you belong to, it disqualifies you from being an elder. And it damn sure disqualify you from being an ancestor. So we venerate our ancestors, so you will be forever forgotten. So it's dope, man, that y'all said that, and y'all understand that good character is one of the elements.
Definitely.
So man, that's dope, bro. That's dope. So let's get into, man, because I just wanted to see what was your thoughts, man, with Pan-Africanism, man. What you could, how one can become a Pan-African. So I like your perspective, man, what you got, man. But man, let's how long, bro, have you been, conscious, or woke, or had knowledge yourself, or what I like to consider just, being aware?
I would say that I became aware maybe around the time I was 13, 14. 14 for sure, 13 a possibility. Just coming across different information. I've always been someone who was attracted to books. So even as young as maybe elementary school age, second grade, third grade, I would always find myself in the library grabbing books that weren't necessarily the interests of some of my classmates. It might be some form of world mythology, whether it be Greek or Roman or African folklore and different things of that nature. My grandmother was a devout Southern Baptist Christian. So, of course, I've read the Bible multiple times. And it's just a hunger for knowledge. Just if it had a plethora of words in it, I was more than likely going to read it, from a toothpaste box to a dictionary. So once I started to have all these different references and be able to see, like, okay, well, this story sounds like this story. So if these stories fake, what makes these stories real, and where can I find this in history? So just going through that consistent journey and then running across different people who would reflect the information that I had come across. Like I had never come across a member of the Nation of Islam until I first read the Quran. And then after reading the Quran and then coming across this brother, he led me down a path that I then started to come across 5%ers. And then after coming across 5%ers, I started to come across the Black nationalists and Pan-Africanists. And it was like whatever was a desire or a request to find out more information, the universe would always say, okay, you want to learn about that? Okay, well, here go a person right here that represents that or represents that in this moment in time. And what can you gain from that? What can you learn from this interaction and the information they provide? So I've just stayed consistent with that journey. You know, like the brother who I call my enlightener, his name was Devon Bourne, real name Dennis Barrows. He passed away shortly after my mom passed away, actually. So he was the first one that sat me down and we watched the whole Hidden Color series. Like I had never heard of it till he showed me. But he had been around me prior to this coming out. This is who I would go over the Supreme Mathematics and have different questions about some of the lessons. He was that elder for me, going through this path of understanding and enlightenment, and since then, the trajectory and the direction that I've gone, I feel like is my walk has also venerated the things that he showed me and bestowed upon me. Like he gave me a lot of information and he kind of like kicked up that fire and it constantly blazes. I could always hear his voice in my head saying, hey, yo, God, keep your foot on their necks. That's all I can hear that constantly. So whether it be through my music, going in the community and speaking with our people, like that thought always stays in my mind. Like you got to go and be amongst the people and be able to speak to them in their language, but also be able to provide them with information that's going to be substantial for them and it's going to be sustenance for them and can help them on to their next path.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Condolences, man, too, to your teacher, man, and your mom, man. Sorry for that.
Yeah, man, they here in the flesh. As long as I'm here thriving, they with me. That's one thing I learned. Actually, my mom's memorial is 4 days from now. She passed away December 9th. And that was another thing. Just like with the passing of my mother, it forced me to like, okay, I've learned a lot of things about the world, but my placement in the world and how I got here and the lineage that I come from, now it's time to delve into that. And I learned a whole lot just in the process, from the name she gave me when I was born to the name that I took upon myself. Like everything correlates. So I know you was gonna ask me about that, so I'll save that. I ain't gonna get into that right now.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, man. Damn it. You said 13 or 14, man. Man, it was, and I was a grown damn man, bro. I'm 44, so maybe in my middle 30s, man. It's been about, let me see, 34. It's been 10 years for me, man. So I was upset that I didn't know nothing about none of this stuff, you know, while I was a young man or while I was in school or when I was in college or even when I got out of college and started trying to stand, which I was already standing on my two when I left the house and I was in college, but really standing on my two and trying to take care of myself. I'm like, where this stuff been all my life, man? A little bit upset by it, man, but I'm glad that I was able to become aware, man, and understand, like you said, my place, our place, and what we actually contribute, and our contributions, our ancestors' contributions, because all I was taught was that the European contributed everything to the world. We had no contributions, you know, and when there was something mentioned about us, it was always something of slavery. You know what I'm saying? I know, I don't know. I know here I'm in Mississippi, so when we go to Black studies and Black economics and not in college, but in high school, that's what they show. We looked at slave, we look at roots, we look at the whole series of roots. We may talk about a little bit about slavery, but most of the contributions, anything of something, a major contribution, it always came from somebody that doesn't look like us. And then they might have shared a little pieces here and there in the school system here around February, Black History Month. You know, they might, this Black guy invented this, Black, but there's never really no history, man, or what our people actually did, or even talked about who these guys that they teaching us about, like Pythagoras and Euclid and Thales. Where did these guys get their information from? Where did they go?
Right.
They don't tell you, you know, about that, who influenced these guys to go in these different fields. But man, yeah, man. So I'm wondering, and I'm gonna ask you, what are some of your influence in hip hop? Because like me listening to, and I gotta go back and get the Ashe, the first one. Ashe, what is it? Ashe Self-Elevation?
A Supreme Elevation.
Yeah, Supreme Elevation. I gotta go back and check that one out. It's Ashe 2 for the people, right?
Right.
Like it put me listening to the CD. It has a feel, but I don't want to say what type of feel I got, because I hear a lot of influence from a group, and we're from two of my favorite groups from the South, and and me listening to it, like I said, I've been listening to it for almost a month, and like it put me, like when I listened to it the first time, and then I listened to it the second time. Like when I listened to it the first time, I listened to it complete, and then I was like, damn, this sound like this group and that group, which these two groups are connected. And I went back and listened to it a second time, and then you mentioned the group, or one of the members of the group, and one of the songs. So and it took me back to my junior high days. When this group came out, I was in either the ninth, or I went straight to I was going in the 10th grade. And every time I listen to your CD, it take me back to those days when I acted, I dressed it, and then even in my music, because I put out a couple of CDs, and I was in a group called 3PAT, which was Three Pimpin' Ass Thugs at the time. So in high school, we had a complete CD out. So, and I'm acting like this certain one. So who are some of your influences? So who are some of your hip hop influences?
My hip hop influences, I would say Nas, Twister, DOC, Outkast, UGK, A-Ball and MJG, Bone Thugs and Harmony, Big Pun, Raekwon, and Ghostface, Method Man. I say the whole Wu-Tang Clan for real, and the whole Dungeon family. Goody Mob, like just the whole Dungeon family. Dog Pound, like I was because my grandmother was the strict devout Southern Baptist, like rap was a no-go in the house. So I literally had to sneak and listen to rap music. And that's initially what got me into writing. So like, because I had to sneak and listen to it, I listened to whatever was around me or I could get my hands on. So it's like all of my influences are widespread. Like it's more regions. So it's like the Midwest, the South, like the whole states for real. Artists from these different pockets and places have had an influence or inspiration in how I create my art, whether it be from how to structure certain things or how I want it to sound or what I don't want to do. But speaking on the things that I would pull from and that actually influenced and inspired for sure. I say Nas, Twista, Outkast, Goody Mob, UGK, and the Wu-Tang Clan. For real.
Oh man, I wanted to know, bro, because man, like I said, it took me back to my junior high school day. I think I might have been in the 10th grade when Outkast Southern Playalistic Music came out. And man, that CD was so dope for me. And then when Goody Mob dropped Soul Food album. So that, and even the UG, now that you mentioned UGK, those I can hear the influence. So I on for real. I thought I was listening to a Dungeon Family album because when with those albums, you know, and after they became a little bit more successful, they kind of veered away from that. But if you listen to Southern Playalistic, Cadillac Music, you listen to Goody Mob first CD, Cell Therapy, and even if you listen to the other group that Sleepy Brown was in, which is a part of the Dungeon Family before he became a solo artist and a producer. He was also a producer for Organized Noise. They read a lot, and you listen to the music. They dropped a lot of jewels within their music, and then they will have these skits, man, where they will be talking. They be talking that talk. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, I didn't know really what the hell they were talking about, man. One of the members, the group, I can't think of the group, that Sleepy Brown was with, Big Gib, or not Big Gib, but like Big Gib, or whatever his name was. He was like, and even
was it Parental Advisory?
Yeah, Parental Advisement. You know, boy, they talk with the poetry. He would do the poetry, but then the Goody Mob album, Outkast.
I'm talking about Big Rube.
Big Rube, yeah.
Big Rube.
So yeah, Big Rube. Yeah, so I'm like, man,
Shout out Big Rube.
Yeah. So it just took me back to that. And man, I'm like, damn, like this music that took me all the way back to me being in high school and how Outkast definitely influenced me, because you couldn't tell me when I was in school that I wasn't big boy. I wore the Kangos. I ended up growing my hair, getting a break. But you couldn't tell me, man. So, you know, so man, I thought I was one of the members of Outkast. And then when Goody Mob came out, I was like, man, shoot, that influenced me too. So, and my music, when we used to go to the studios and we would write, or whether we would get a track from a guy that studio that we used to use, Michael Collins Studio, GME Studios. We'll buy a track from him while we was in school. We'll save our money, buy a track. We'll come home, man. We'll write to it, and then we'll go back and pay book studio time to go. And man, I'll be in there, man. I'm saying, man, shit, what? You know, I got to come like big boy. So I thought I definitely, man, thought I was big boy, man. So I just hear the influence within the music. So like I said, I thought I was listening to a Dungeon Family album, and I said that after I listened to it the first time, and I'm like, damn, man, this sound like it done took me back, man, in my high school days, and man, it sounded like a Dungeon Family. And then one of the songs you mentioned them in one of your tracks, I just started, and it was crazy. After I said it, I was already listening to the song, and you said it within one of those songs. I can't think I can't even pronounce the name of the song, but it starts with an S. Damn, let me see.
Siwaju.
Yeah, Siwaju.
Siwaju.
Okay, yeah. That's what it is. So
what is that? Smoking on the mob or that Goody Outkast to get out standing close to the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So yeah, man. I said, wow, man. Yeah. You know, peace to everybody, man. It's in the chat, y'all. Please like and share. Please like and share the show. And my wife is in the chat, y'all. Please make my wife be on her good behavior, man. Please.
Peace to everybody in the chat.
Yeah. So man, I definitely will, because I'm like, man, I hope this brother say Outkast and Goody Mob. God damn, that's what I thought. But let's talk about your props, man. How long do how long have you been doing music, man? And what Olu Ase process look like when he's creating?
Well, I've been actively pursuing music like since like my mid to late 20s. I started writing rhymes when I was like around 6, 7. I was writing poetry. And I started rapping probably when I was like 14 going on 15. 15, yeah, like when I was starting to, okay, let me figure this out. And I had a little tape recorder that one of my classmates used to let me borrow, bring to the house. I had blank tapes in it. So I'd get to the house and I'd just do a bunch of freestyles over beats. It didn't matter if it was the radio or whatever. I just wanted to see if I could get it off. And after that consistent practice and consistent writing and formulating ways to turn my poetry into what I heard when I heard raps. Because a lot of times I had to finding the structure for my bars and things of that nature. So my first actual time in the studio, I'll say it was 17, and I've been in the studio every year since then. Just perfecting my craft, just going for it. I've been a part of different groups. You know, shout out to my brother John Davis, Jay Young, Ghetto Hearts. That was like the first, like, he was the one that showed me, like, okay, we need to take pictures. We need to get the CDs pressed up. Like, he kind of, like, he was like the Master P of our circle. Like, he was the one focused on the independent route. Like, it wasn't like looking for no deals. Like, we pressed up like 100 CDs and we hit the concrete with them. And we just kept pursuing since then. He's found other passions since then. I've decided to keep going with the music. But just my process is different because I do like a lot of free writing. So my rhymes won't have structure until I separate and break down things. And sometimes, like, I don't start with the chorus first. It might come to me. But for the most part, I'll let the music play. And when it speaks to me, I just pull it out of thin air. It's like alchemy. I listen to the beat and just find depending on how I'm feeling, where I want to lay at on the beat. Does it have a lot of percussion in it? And if it doesn't have percussion in it, I'll make my rhyme the drum pattern. If it already has drums, I might lay my rhymes down like how a wind instrument might sound to me. Just kind of going through it. Like when I listen to music, it has hues and colors to me. So that also plays a part in what the content is going to be. So certain records, like I'll give you an example, like off of Ashe 2, like Florida Water. Florida Water is like a light blue, kind of like the color of Florida Water. That's how the record sounded to me when I started on it. That's how I ended up with that name, because I actually don't even think I mentioned Florida Water in the song.
No, we're going to talk about that, though, because I want to talk about my favorite track. That's one of my favorite tracks, because I'm, Florida Water. Florida Water is one of my favorite tracks. I think that's the first song off the album. So we definitely going to talk about that. Yeah. So with that, you have to, but you said you write without the music, though, too, right? You just write and then, or you have to have the music.
I do both. Like, if I'm just, like, if it's something specific, like, let's say, I'll give you an example, like on I say one, there's a record called Palo Santo featuring a sister named Saray. That was one of those rhymes where that was written without that beat. And then when I found that beat, the rhyme just fit perfectly with it, because it was detailing like our ancestors being kidnapped and the feelings and like just the contrast of like what you thought was gonna happen by snatching our ancestors away and what's actually occurring. It's kind of like a person can chop a tree down and you think you chopping that tree down removed it, but what you did when it dropped is that a bunch of seeds shook loose. So now for that one tree, if one seed sprouts up out of this death, that's one thing. But when the whole forest can sprout up from this you chopping this tree down. So it's like my mentality say for every warrior you take from us, 10 will spring up in his place. So you might want to stop doing what you're doing, because the more you attack us, the more you're going to create these seeds and something that you can't control.
Right.
And it's going to be out of your control to stop. So it's like when creating music, and it's like the seriousness of the content sometimes will depict or determine whether I sit with the beat and try to write to the beat, or if I just like, no, you know what, I want to just get these thoughts out, and then let's see how it sounds on the music. And it usually, like, I'll say 9 times out of 10, it's a go.
Okay, no doubt, man. Yeah, because everybody have different methods, man, on how how they create their music, man. So I just want to know exactly, man, what your process actually look like, man. Let me see, man. Name and I think I don't know. Did you know you did? No, you did. So name some of your favorite, man. I asked you earlier, your warrior scholars, man. So name some of your favorite hip hop artists. And I don't know how far you can go back, you know what I'm saying? Because like I'm saying, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm not old, I'm a middle-aged man. I'm 44, so old, you're not old until you're 65 and on up. So I'm a middle-aged man. So I kind of remember when hip hop, when it kind of started getting popular. I want to talk about the birth of hip hop a little bit, but I don't know how far you can go back, but just go back to where you want to go back. But I'm asking, what is your favorite hip hop artist? And I'm saying in the 80s, if you have any, the 90s, the early 2000s, and current, some of your favorite hip hop artists.
So I say, because I'm a 35, but I would say I'm a student of hip hop. So I say from the 80s, my favorites out the 80s is like Rakim, Kane, Cool G Rap, Light,
MC Light?
KR. Yeah, MC Light.
Okay, well, no doubt.
Yeah, sisters get the MCs that are sisters, they got room on my list, because there's a lot of women out there that rap that actually rap better than their brothers. Some of them, for the 90s, Tupac, Grand Poobah, 90s. It's a lot in the 90s. I say the 90s was like that real flux area. So it's like, there's a lot of ghosts. I don't want to leave nobody out, but I will make sure I mention the DOC. That's a Texas native, and I think he goes overlooked when it comes to the different things that he brought. Like, if you didn't have a DOC, you wouldn't have a Crazy Bone, and a lot of people don't know that. Because it was those that high sped, like the whirlwind pyramid style, that caused a lot of people to want to learn how to rap fast. And it just so happens that guys in the Midwest, that became, instead of becoming like a trick, they can pull out a bag like, hey, you thought I was finished? Hold on, I got one more thing for you. They made that like the focal point. So like when you get Twister, Do or Die, Crucial Conflict, Psychodrama, the Snipers, groups of that nature, then you have Bone Thugs and Harmony. You have a bunch of groups all using similar, they're all using speed, but they're doing it in different ways. So Bone Thugs and Harmony is adding the harmonies to it. So when one person is rapping, you got 4 other people in the back emphasizing certain key words. They were more like, it's like a quintet or quartet. But when you have groups like Do or Die, it's mainly based on the speed and the ability to attach it to the rhythm. So, yeah, for real, we could go on all day, like with tops and picks and who out of where. Like, I just enjoy hip hop overall.
So
I would say.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I would say that it's just been an influx of music that doesn't really have a point. It just sounds good, and a lot of times it's cookie cut. But that's usually what makes the mainstream, because once the industry figured out what the consumer likes or what they have made the consumer like, then they start spitting it out like a factory. And that's the difference between soul food and fast food. The industry went into a fast food model when at one time they had the luxury of doing like the soul food approach. I could take a little time and create and craft this album and put these things together and make sure I had all the right ingredients. Whereas now it's kind of like it's the difference between having a sirloin steak and hamburger helper. Like the meat came from the same place, but the products are different. So
yeah, man. So do I'm for me, the 90s is the golden era for me. Like for the 90s, that is the golden era for me, man, because it was so much. And like I was telling old Bifimi last night, like I listen to, I got Sirius Satellite in my car, so if I'm listening to that, I'm listening to the old hip hop, and they play a lot of 80s and a lot of the 90s music over there. And it was back then, it was balanced for me. Like it was back, even though I thought the negativity was more fly, you know what I'm saying? But we did have that balance where we had, we had the poor righteous teachers, we had Grand Poobah, the Brand Nubian, we had Boogie Down Production, KRS-One, we had Poison Clan, we had Zulu. We had all these. We had a few more. You know what I'm saying? What they would consider conscious rap, and a lot of them, like I remember me listening to Poisonous Clan and the Poor Righteous Teachers. Like I rocked with their music, but I didn't think they were just cool. You know what I'm saying? And even back then, in the industry, you had those people that they wore the flag. You know what I'm saying? They talked about Africa. You know what I'm saying? They wore the medallions. You know what I'm saying? The leather African medallions. They were proud. They pumped their fist. I value it now. Like I told over Femi, I don't know. Over the years, I went back and I've listened to those music, and that music resonates more with me, and it's just as powerful as it is now as it was when they put it out in the 90s. And I just hate that, I wouldn't own it like I was, and I didn't think it was just that cool. I thought the negative stuff, talking about the women, calling them because I listened to Too Short, man. This was before Snoop Dogg, and if you listen to Too and not his early stuff all the way up to his current stuff, his mantra was BITCH and how long he can stretch that word. So I thought
right.
So that and listening to some of then NWA, then they came out. Ice Cube became, but even though with Ice Cube kind of got me like listening to it a little bit more after then, because he kind of was on that political rebellion type of stuff. So and I kind of liked that when he left NWA and he went over there with Public Enemy. I forgot about Public Enemy, but Public Enemy was another one. And matter of fact, through all of them, Public Enemy was the one that I jammed the most. I think I bought maybe 3 or 4 different cassette tapes, because they were cassette tapes then. The music, and I used to love about the cassette tapes because I was in the music. So I was already doing, rapping. I wasn't doing beats at that time. I started doing beats later on, but I wanted to know who produced the track, who wrote the track. They had all the credits within the book, who they shouting out in it. So I bought it for the music, but I definitely bought it for the artwork on the cover and just to read inside of it. People used to think I was weird. Like, what the hell is you doing? Bro, I'm reading to see who done what in here, who done wrote what, who they done shouted out, who executive produced, who produced the album. That was, the whole thing. But
right.
But yeah, the '90s was mine. '90s was the golden era for me, man. What would you consider like the golden era of hip hop?
I would say, for me to go to, I would say that there have been like pockets where it's been more output than not. Like early '90s, like I was born in '86.
Yeah.
So when Pac died, I was 10. So a lot of the things that came before that, I really didn't have the life experience to really appreciate what was being said. You know, like when you were a kid, it's just like, all you really hear is the curse words in some of the rhymes. You know, like you hear the way they rapping on the beat, but you're not really the subject matter. It's kind of like when you think about Tupac, a lot of people, they'll go back to Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up, but they only go to those songs when people talk about Pac in a negative light. And then it's like, well, what about these songs? But at the same token, these two songs aren't like these aren't the songs that got him known. Like, these are the songs that played a part in his legacy, but most people, if you mention Tupac, the first thing they're going to say is Hail Mary or Hit 'em Up. It's the more aggressive, it's the songs that were created to spark up something that usually gathers and garners the attention. So I really say like I'll say the best albums to me were put out between like 94, like 90, 93, 94, up until like 99. That was like that pocket. Everything from Illmatic to the Marshall Mathers LP came out during that time. But if you swim through all that music, you'll find a lot of gems. It was the resurgence of real content where they wanted to label it as backpack rap. So you had like the Talib Kweli's, Mos Def, Common, The Roots, with Black Thought being like an excellent wordsmith. So you just had like a lot of different things. It's just always been a weird connotation with individuals who display intelligence and understanding of the word. But when it's found in rap, they label it soft just because it's not talking about genocide. And I feel like that's one of the things that keeps a lot of young Black men that want to create and make art. That's what had them out here in these studios lying, because they feel like, well, if this person over here is walking on water in his raps and he's doing all these different techniques and styles, and nobody's buying that. That's not what I'm hearing. I'm gonna go rap like Pusha Icy. I'm gonna go rap like this person, or I'm gonna do it like how they doing it, because that's where it's at. So we gonna bring all the attention to the negative things about our culture, like. And I feel like the industry is a part to blame for that. Like, they know what they're doing, and they've been doing it for a while. And I think that outside of myself, a lot of the RBG artists, and even if they're not RBG, if you have some type of awareness of what's going on in the world right now, and you making real content based on what's really going on, you don't really have the time to be adding more fuel to the fire. If anything, you have to bring awareness to what's going on, but also you got to know why it's going on. Because then sometimes you get a lot of people that want to stand on a soapbox and they talk down to the youth, and it's like they don't really offer them any solutions. You telling me about problems that I already know exist. Now, where are the solutions at? Like, everybody knows that selling poison to your people is wrong, that we support. But are these Black businesses hiring Black people? And are these Black businesses furthering, like, it's one thing, it's like, I think a lot of people got it misconstrued when they started using the term Black-owned business, because what they really creating is just family businesses. You're really just trying to create generational wealth for your family, when the real goal is these people go out in the world and these other cultures, and they're hiring their people. Not just their family, but their people. And I think that's one of the things one of the key things that can be changed in the format and the way things are going. Like, if you want to start up a record label, start up a record label, start an independent label, and bring your guys together to where y'all can put, and then you can become Empire instead of trying to do the most outlandish things to get these people's attention to make them more money, and then they break you off with a fraction of what they actually making off of you. Like, if he can afford to pay you $1 million, you best believe that he made more than $1 million off of you, or he's projected more than that from you. So just having an understanding of all those things together is one way to make things different, and paying attention to the way the industry has run for years and where it is now is another thing that's going to help a lot of people see the difference between what's really art and music and what's people just like trying to cash in. I can make a hot little song right quick, get their attention. All I got to do is something foolish. Do wild things on social media that'll garner attention, and then I can run off with the money.
Yeah, it definitely was that. That's happening in the so-called conscious community. It's sad.
You see what I'm saying? Exactly.
Yeah, you describe what I'll tell you. That's what they doing over in the conscious community, man. Straight up.
Devilish techniques.
Yep. So you talked about genre, right? Like, and so I want to know your take on it. What you put your not these just. I know I'm just gonna throw out some genres. I know some of these genres not even it's definitely not what you put yourself in. Even now, one of them may not be. You may have your own idea of what genre of music or what type of music it is that you make. But I'm gonna just throw them out here, man. Alternative hip hop, boom bap, bounce, roll rap, chop and screw, crunk, G-funk, hardcore, gangster rap, horrorcore, hyphy, jerking, drill, conscious, country. And I added this last night because when I was in there, the guy told me country rap tunes. I said, yeah, we can throw that in there because I remember Pimp C said that's what he made, country rap tunes.
Yeah, country rap tunes. Yeah, I got a country rap tune on Ase 1.
Okay.
That's the tight record with me and Preach Black.
Okay. Yeah, so
I would say,
Go ahead.
In all honesty, like, I think that's why my music sounds the way it sounds, because I've never tried to find like a genre. Like, I like the sounds, like the sonics of it. Like, I'll do a drill rap that don't sound like no other drill rap that you've heard, because I have an understanding of what drill music is and where it can potentially go. Like, really, drill music, well, I'll say Chicago's drill music is actually just Chicago's version of Southern trap music. Trap music is just an extension of our earlier hip hop that was influenced by the blues. So it was a storyline to it, and it was usually stories that talked about either being transgressed against or about how to come out of a certain situation. So when you think about Chicago drill and you listen to their flows, you can go back to Memphis and listen to 3 6 Mafia and hear them same cadences. You can hear some of the same subject matter. It's just finding different spins on it. But I pride myself in not having a pocket genre to really fit in, because it opens up the space and opportunity to work with other artists. And one thing that I've realized about the way I make music, and in the regards that some people hold me in as far as like my artistic peers, they meet me where I am. Like, they'll come and get on the record and they want to do what I do. I never have to get on the record and try to do what they do. Like, okay, I'm going to be African over here with the dashiki on, but now I'm going to go sip drink on this song. Like, I don't have to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. Man, before we talk about Ase too, man, for the people, I want to talk about some of those tracks. I even want to talk about what's the name? Okay, you down there, you live down there in Texas, Houston, man. Are you into like the chopped and screwed, or you listen to? I know you got to. IMV don't. I know you used to listen to it. You know,
well, I've listened. I have like some key records that I like that were chopped and screwed. Cause no, like a chopped and screwed record mean that DJ Screw was actually the person who did the mix on it.
Mm-hmm.
So like My Mind Went Blank by Point Blank is like a classic. This is like a long story behind it. Yeah, it's like a long story behind how they got the record cleared and all that stuff for that. But yeah, I've listened to a lot of different chopped and screwed records. Like I can't say that I just go around on a daily basis listening to it, but it's a cultural thing here. So every night, like some songs I like better screwed. Like I've heard albums where I didn't like it at the regular pace after listening to it screwed or slowed down.
Mm-hmm. I ain't finna. I will play something for you, man. I'm gonna play something for you, and I'm just tell me, man, if you feel it. It's like it's something I did. It's not it's just a track, and it's got that Texas feel, Texas feel to it. Just tell me, man. I'm just gonna play a little snippet of it. Of they trying to get me to tell you to rap him, but I ain't gonna do that. Just check out the chat, man, and see, and then we gonna get it to it. But just check it out. Tell me what you think.
Bet that. I might have to get you to send that to me because I can't hear it. The
Oh, you can't?
Hear it. I can't hear it. I can't hear it.
Hold on, can y'all hear it in the chat? Y'all let me know if y'all heard it in the track. Did you hear your song when I played your song in the beginning?
I can hear it faintly.
You could. Let me know if y'all could hear that when I played it. I know it's a delay. Let me see what they say. Could y'all hear the track? He from H-Town. He random freestyle. Can y'all, you talking about something else? Chavis, we ain't heard nothing. Laughing my, y'all ain't hear nothing? Hold on. Let me see. I don't know why. Am I? Oh, hold on. Let me see. Hey, that's odd, man. Hold on, y'all. I don't understand why y'all. So y'all say say nah. They didn't hear nothing. Oh, okay. I know why y'all didn't hear nothing. I got my studio speakers plugged up, and damn, I done played the man song in the beginning, and they ain't hear nothing, man. They ain't even hear the song. I'm gonna have to go back and play it too. We gonna play it at the end of the show, but I forgot I had my studio speakers plugged up because I couldn't even hear over FEMA yesterday. So the only way I would hear it if I plugged in my studio speakers where I was able to kind of hear and make out what he was saying through the interview. So let me know if y'all can hear it now. I know that's definitely what it was. I'm gonna replay it. All right. Hold on, let me go back. And let me know if you can hear it. Did you hear that? Hold on. Let me do this. Hold on, y'all. I'm on. Hey, can y'all hear that? Was you able to hear it, Ashe?
I could hear it lightly. It sounds like it's faint playing in the background.
I don't know. And I got the levels all the way up. Too much equipment. They said no. I do not know why this is not. And this, hold on. I'm gonna try one more time. If they ain't here, I ain't finna work with it today. But yeah, Let me know. You still can hear it?
Not really.
Man, I ain't finna worry with it, bro. I don't know what's going on today. I might done unplug something, but I know I ain't got nothing to unplug, man. But anyway, man, let's get on back, man, with the interview. I'll check that out another time, man. Damn, man, they didn't even hear the song when I played the song earlier. But you had all that hooked up right. Yeah, I got all, I've been playing it, y'all. I've been playing the music. I've been premiering everybody's music over here. And for some reason, it's just not playing. I don't know. I might have did something because I was doing some stuff yesterday with Obafemi, man, trying to get my stuff right. But anyway, we gonna keep rocking and rolling. But yeah, man. So let's Ashe, man. You got an album called Ashe 2. Your first album is Ashe. This and is Ashe 2 for the people. Now let's talk about. I want to talk about the cover. You got on the front cover. You got a famous Benin mask on there. This is Ida, and a lot of people, and at one point in time, a few years ago, I thought this was a male mask, but it's not. It's a female mask, right? So, what inspired you to put this mask, to make this mask a part of your book, your album cover?
Well, I felt like it was one of those pieces that it's commonly seen amongst those in the know in our culture. So that already sparks up an intrigue. Had a dialogue with a sister about that, and she was like, yeah, that's a Benin mask. And I was like, yeah. And she was like, you have a Yoruba name. I was like, yeah. Like my concept, like when we talked about Pan-Africanism, like the Ashe projects, like the albums themselves are a part of a series. After the third one, that's it for the Ashe series. So it's a trilogy. So the first one was red. This one is black. The next one will be green. It'll be for the land. So we'll have the RBG flag. It'll be like a collector's edition. Once all three are completed, I may find a way to get those out to people who want all three of those, like packaged up the way I envisioned it. Because I have ancestry from Benin as well, Ghana, Nigeria, Southeast Africa, and a few more places. I felt that it would be imperative to find out as much as I could about each one of those aspects of my ancestry and find ways to present them as part of my branding, because it's part of who I am. It gives the listener an understanding of who I am, and then it opens up dialogues such as these where we can build. And if I'm misinformed, then I can be properly informed. And if the person doesn't know anything about this, we just opened up a conversation about something you would have never thought about, and it all sparked from music.
Right, and you use that famous Benin mask in the first one too, did you?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought I seen it on there. Yeah, that was like I said, a lot of people think that mask is a male mask. It's a female mask, and it's about a queen, a famous queen. And a famous queen. It's not a whole lot of information out there on this famous queen, but she was a queen who came into power. She was right there on the front line, with the soldiers when she went to war. There's a whole story, man. And I actually interviewed a couple of weeks ago. I actually interviewed I don't want to say the sister name wrong, but she's what she told me she was from. I think she's from Nigeria. I think she's from Nigeria and not Benin. But she wrote two children books, and she wrote about Ida. So, and I have the book over here, and she book is sourced pretty good because it's not a whole lot of information on Ida, and she talks about it in the book. You know, even the marks, which I already knew about the marks when we talk about scarification, but those marks weren't actually used for the mask for scarification. If anyone follows her story, at the end, the dream that she had in the beginning about a young girl warrior who fought with beside her men, and after the war was over, she was a master in plants and herbs, and she helped through plants and herbs help with the wounds of her soldiers. And this dream that Ida had as a young girl actually was her. And over time, her father was a great warrior. And her father actually taught her about being a master strategist after she worried her father. But her father told her they wanted her to be a dancer. So as long as she was dancing, he taught her how to handle certain weaponry, strategic when it comes to fighting, how to handle different certain types of weapons when you go on the war. And then her mother was one who was a master in herbs, who eventually taught her that, and is going back to the dream that she had. So later when she got older, and this festival, she went to go dance for this king at another particular place who was fond of her and asked for her hand in marriage. And after her hand in marriage, she didn't know for sure. So they sent for a native doctor to come in, and they did a ceremony to see if this Oba, the king, would be a particular fit for Ida. And he marked those where those two marks from the mask come from. He marked these scarification marks and filled them with certain type of medicine. And she eventually laid back down according to the story. And she hadn't had that dream. She eventually went back to the dream she had when she was a little boy. A little girl, and come to realize that this was the woman that she dreamed about, who was this warrior who fought side by side with her men and then helped heal her men after the war, was her. So she, that gave her a confirmation to marry this other Oba from another place. But yeah, man, but I think, I just seen that, man. I think that's dope, and that's dope. Like, even with that, with what you did, that'll spark a conversation. Like, okay, man, damn, I like that mask. What is that? So now you just spark that conversation, man. So yeah, so let's talk about, like, I'm gonna tell you about some of my favorite tracks, bro. You got I got Florida Water, Get Ready, The Hinges, Slick, and then Orisha. And like I said, bro, you go ahead and talk. You go ahead and talking and talk, bro. You go ahead and talking and talk, bro. I'm telling you, man, you go ahead and talking and talk, man. But kind of like, briefly kind of talk about, like, like some of my, because I'm interested with those. Like, I like the whole CD, you got 11 tracks. I listen, and every time I play it, I don't skip to the next track. I let the whole CD just bang. But I'm saying these are my favorite: Florida Water, Get Ready, The Hinges, Slick, and Orisha. So, man, kind of like you were kind of touching on Florida Water a little bit, but kind of, and that was kind of threw me too. I'm like, he ain't talking about Florida or the water, and then he from Houston. So I said, it's okay. You kind of talk about what inspired. Well, you kind of go back, because you mentioned your process and how you see colors, and you seen blue. If you correct me if I'm wrong, that's what you said, blue. So that's how you kind of came up with the Florida Water. But can you kind of elaborate, man, on that track right there?
So that track initially is outside of the color concept. With most of my work, most songs that the people hear or you'll hear eventually, to me, are color coded. You usually won't, unless you have the same capabilities when it comes to seeing sounds and hearing colors, then that might be a far-fetched concept. But it had a certain hue to it. And also, Florida water is used to consecrate and bless things. So on my first project, the first track is called Ire, which is a blessing. Mm-hmm. So on I Say 2, I wanted to keep similar themes without overdoing certain, like kind of pulling in new phrases. There's something like, okay, well, what is Florida water? Then you type in Florida water and you see, okay, well, that's a cologne. Well, it's also used for hoodoo and conjure work in the South. Mm-hmm. So you say you're from Mississippi. So Mississippi to Tennessee to the Carolinas to certain parts of Florida, Louisiana, all that. It may not be the same materials, but usually you will find certain things that either your ancestors or a close relative may have that are used for those type of purposes. Florida water is similar to holy water for those involved in Catholicism. So for the root work or the conjurer or the HR or the practitioner, this barrier is used to anoint your candles with or bless things and to remove negative energy from. You can also smudge for those type of purposes, but Florida water is usually one of the first things that one would go.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna get to that too, Sutek, but yes, to answer your question, Sutek, yes. Yes. Yeah, so and let's talk about Orisha. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about that last, because that song gonna lead into my last question that I have, brother. And I'm gonna let you go. But let's talk about my other track, man. Get ready, man. So what's that about, man? Get ready.
Well, Get Ready was actually one of those records where I had it for a while, and I was sitting on that record, and it's like I couldn't figure out how I wanted to pull it together or like what I really wanted to do with it. So we had a Black Food Truck Festival. My brothers with the Blacklist Association, they host a food truck festival, and one of the artists that came down to perform from Delaware is a brother named Richard Raw. He's I actually want to say he's been on tour with Talib Kweli right now, but he's been doing music for quite some time, and we actually make music in a similar vein. And I let him hear it. He heard the beat. He recognized the Fela Kuti sample right off the top. It's a sample from a song called Water Get No Enemy. And as soon as he heard it, I was like, well, I just got this one part, bro, that is just like the only part that's stuck in my mind. People, get ready. And we built off of that. And once we built off of that, the song came to light, like literally, like that song was done in like 40 minutes.
Yeah, man, that's my son, though. I'm telling you, my son, he late. Soon as I go live, he'll go to college, man. I'll tell they were talking about that in the chat earlier. There you go, Sutek and Sean. He called. But yeah, man, that's a dope track, bro. Like that's a dope track, man. Hinges, man. Man, talk about that song, because you mentioned Jordan Davis in there, man. Is that
definitely
actually inspired by the situation that happened with that brother years ago?
Yes. So first I want to say rise and power to Jordan Davis. Man, that situation that song was created to not harp on certain things the way some artists typically do when they make songs of that nature. So that record was created when I heard how bass heavy it was, and I was just sitting thinking like, damn, like, all right, I know this gonna rock in the South, but what can I do with it? what can I like? How can I put this together? What can I? And it was like, you know what? Since they wanted to shoot this young man because his music was too loud, I tell you what, we're gonna make a record with the specific instructions to play it loud. And I want those who would have the same feelings as Michael Dunn to know that you don't have the authority to tell a person what to do with their own property. And since you don't like our music already, I'm gonna make you not like it more. So I'm gonna tell the truth, and we're gonna be loud with it. Like I wanted to make that. I wanted that song to carry the energy that was sufficient for our people that go out and take parts in protests, and they take place in armed marches through the streets, to have music that recalls a sentiment of the things that we've gone through for just simply existing. To know that this man is not serving time for murder, he's serving time for attempted murder. He's not serving time for the Black youth that he killed. He's serving time for the 2 that he shot that didn't die. So I always want to make sure that whenever that song gets played, that people go back to that situation and look at this is what this caused. Somebody who wasn't minding their business heard loud music and tried to force these young men to turn their music down. And when they didn't, he killed one and shot 2 others. Like, that's one of those conversation pieces. And shout out to U Stone because he pulled the record together the way we needed it to be pulled together. I wanted to have warrior energy on it. Like, a lot of times our artists are too passive and they say things in a please stop killing us, please don't hurt us, hands up, don't shoot. Like, nah, that's not my sentiments. My sentiments is self-preservation and protect yourself. When you understand the enemy and you understand who the true opposition is, then you know that there is no making peace with opposition in active war.
That's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. That definitely had that warrior spirit, man. That's dope. And man, we, like I said, man, the time that kind of went by, man, we finna get ready to wrap it up. Like I said, I try not to make the interview be an hour, no longer than an hour and a half. But we like at an hour and a half right now, man. So, we'll talk about the last song, man, and then we'll kind of talk about your interest, which lead into my last question, man. So, Arisha, like I said, man,
Oh no, I was listening, brother.
Oh, well,
no, I was just saying right on.
Okay, so Arisha, man, talk about that song, but that's a dope song, and the hook, I love the hook, bro. I'm telling you, I love the hook on that song, man. So kind of talk about that hook, and which will lead into, I mean, not the hook, but the song in general, or what inspired the song in general, which probably is going to lead into the question that I'm asking. My last question is, what interests you into studying the Yoruba tradition called Esheshe?
Well, I can start with one of my ancestors. My great grandmother, her first name was Bessie. But her middle name was Ola. And it was something that always stuck out to me about that. And one day I decided to look up her name and other names that some of my relatives carried that I've actually had interactions with. And what I came to find out was that these names were Yoruba names. I have a cousin who we call Adi, but it's actually Ide. And he's had that name since we were kids. Like they pronounce it one way, but they spelt it the correct way. So upon my studies and going into my ancestry and taking the different tests, I was able to find out that these signs and symbols led me right to where I had already found myself. When I chose the name Olumide, I chose the name Olumide not just because it means God has come, but because when my mother named me as a child, my initials, when inverted, spell out the word Lord, Lord. So I was like, well, this name is still synonymous and it still fits for what she was manifesting for me or manifesting for my mindset to be in. So going into the song Orisha, I was like, okay, well, I'll use these names and things that are specific to them so that people kind of have a connotation of what they are and what they mean. And I know like with Yemaya is more of diasporic tradition to have her connected with oceans, but I utilize that aspect as well. Obatala, all white cloth, can't you see it? Yemaya got me barefoot on the beaches. Oludumare gave me everything I needed. I woke up this morning feeling like an Orisha. I woke up this morning feeling like I'm doing the things necessary that when I pass, my people can call on my name, or if someone swears on my name, that oath and that swear is taken seriously. Like for the people that swear on Ogun or they swear on Shango, they know exactly what they're doing because swearing on these Orisha and these deities, it means something specific. So with a culture that has been drawn towards Isheshe in different aspects and understanding of Ifa, and a lot of people are becoming initiated into these systems, I felt like going to Sankofa's, like the National Black United Front every year does a Sankofa Caravan. That was a song that I actually wrote after my first Sankofa Caravan trip, where we went to the beach and all the practitioners came out. They gave offerings, they did drum ceremonies and things of that nature. So the song was driven out of the energy that was provided during that experience.
Okay, no doubt, man. Dope song, man. I want first, bro. I mean, again, I want to appreciate you, bro, for coming on the panel, man. And I really do, because you could have did anything, like any. I tell everybody that you could be doing anything else with your time, man. But you allowed me, man, to interview you, man. You allowed me to share the space with you, man, for an hour and a half, man. The deal, man, and I definitely appreciate you, man, for coming on the platform. Like I say, I definitely appreciate the project, man, that you put out a couple of months ago, Ashe 2, for the people. And I encourage everybody, man, to go and get that. It's on all streaming platforms, man. I guarantee if you get the CD, that you're going to bang it all the way through. I'm telling you, you're going to bang it. All 11 tracks, you're going to bang it all the way through. So for people, man, that's that want to, contact you or reach you or get any other your future project, I mean your project that you have out of your past project, man, can you give them all your info?
Okay, you can follow me on most social platforms at Olu_Ase. That's at OLU_ASE. You can also search for my music through all streaming platforms. Just type in my name, OLU space ASE. You'll see 2 projects out right now. That's Ashe 1 and Ashe 2. The song that was played earlier, which is Black Coffee, will be on the reissue of Solid. Solid is Standing on Land I Designed. That was the second project I dropped. We'll be doing a re-release of that. But yeah, you can follow me, Olu Ase, OLU_ASE, or you can follow me at OLUMIDE _ASE. That's Olumide _Ase. You can find me on all social platforms. I share my music, the links in the bio, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I appreciate you for having me on your platform, Brother Kofi. I look forward to coming back.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. I'm definitely gonna bring you back, man. If you got anything, man, you need me to do, bro, for you, man, just holler at me. You got my line now, man. Just hit me on the line, bro. If I'm able to do it, man, I'm I'm gonna let you know. Yeah, I can do that. I can do that for you. So just holler at me, man, if you need me, man, for anything, man. And again, man, appreciate you for tuning on. I don't know what I did. I really don't know what I did, but I can't. I ain't gonna even. I wanted to try to play the song going out, but for some reason it's not playing, and I know it was playing yesterday when I did over Femi, and when I've been playing it recently, for some reason, I don't know, I might have unhooked something over here when I was fooling with something yesterday last night, where it's not playing, the audio is not playing all the way through, man. But again, man, I said Shimon Hotel, I said ETM Hotel in the beginning, which means bring forth peace. So now you gotta see. But I said ETM Hotel in the beginning, which means bring forth peace. So now I want to say Shimon Hotel. I want to say, Shimon Hotel, which means to depart in peace. We'll see y'all next week, man. We'll see y'all next week. And again, appreciate those who contributed to the comprehension book, which will be released real soon. Also, be on the lookout for that. Also, be on the lookout for Chavis, who is the newest member of our Kofi Piesie research team. He has a publication that is coming out real soon here, maybe in the next 2 weeks. So y'all be on the lookout for that again, man. Peace and Black African Power, man. And we'll see y'all when we see y'all. We